Obviously, Kunal is here as always to talk to us about, what is the moving average crossover? How can one actually use golden undeath crossover? And here's a guide coming in from Kunal. Kunal, take it over.
So today's topic on BNS and Pathshala is on the moving average crossovers. Now we've discussed this historically in the previous Pathshala sessions of how a moving average is calculated and then what's the importance of a moving average. Today the terminology which we are using is two important crossovers. So one of them is the golden crossover where in technical parlance we call it when the 50-day moving average, a simple day moving average crosses above the 200-day moving average. And then the second is what we call it as a bearish crossover or a death crossover where the 50-day moving average breaks below the 200-day moving average. Now what are the implications of this and how to understand this in terms of the chart observation? So I have two examples over here. The first chart which you will look at is on the Nifty 50. So look at the period over here in 2020 second half when there was this red line which was the 50-day moving average. When it crossed above the blue line which is the 200-day moving average, we called it as a period of golden crossover. What happens post that is that when you see a golden crossover, the asset class it tends to go into multi-month, multi-quarter, multi-years of uptrend depending on which time frame the crossover has happened. And see what had happened to Nifty at that point of time. It was almost at 10,000, 11,000 levels, and in a matter of the next 1 year, we saw the index rising up sharply to almost 18,000 plus levels. Then comes the bearish crossover, which is what we call as technically a death crossover, where the 50-day moving average breaks below this 200-day moving average. And as you can see over here, post this, the index went into a sell-off mode. We had a lot of problems which came by in the last 3-4 months, but then that surfaced when the price actually confirmed a breakdown and using this death crossover. We'll look at one more example in terms of stock patterns, in terms of charts, how the prices beforehand gives an indication that there is a negative trend which has started into the stock. This is a chart for Shree Cement. Now it's been one of the more formidable Nifty 50 names as well as from the cement pack. But look at what happened over here. Shree Cement gave a golden crossover in the second half of 2020. In fact, was one of the last cement stocks to actually provide a breakout. The stock moved up higher significantly, gave returns of more than 40% in a short span of time. But this death crossover is something which is very interesting because as you can see over here, post that death crossover is where the stock actually started to slide and get into a multi-month correction. So post death crossover is where you see a downward trend, and post the golden crossover is where we start to see an upward trend. Just one example, which one could look out for on the current charts is that the Nifty Auto Index, and the reason why the Auto Index is moving up higher is because there are so many stocks in the Nifty Auto Index which are actually showing signs of golden crossover. So probably good times ahead for the auto stocks, and that's the importance and significance of a moving average crossover.
Okay, Kunal, thank you so much for that analysis coming in on the technical front, which helps us understand better technical analysis, and that was about moving average crossovers.